entire globe involving hundreds of different cultures explaining the same phenomenon by different names.
The nature of the footprints, namely their remarkable consistency, their biomechanical appropriateness, those aspects that are extremely compelling.
Hey guys, welcome to the Bigfoot Influencers podcast, which you can't really see today. How come we're so tall today?
I don't know. We grew.
Anyway, that's who we are. I'm Dana Halloran.
And I am Tim Halloran. We're just thrilled to be here.
We are.
Yeah.
And we're super excited about our guest.
Yes.
He's from Massachusetts and his name is Dave McCullough. And Tim, do you want to give a little history about him?
A little bit, yeah,
Okay.
sure. We're gonna save most of it for Dave. I guess we met Dave at the first Ohio Bigfoot conference.
Yeah.
And Dave's he's just a cool guy.
Yes.
Super nice, one of the nicest guys you'll
And
meet.
he's normal.
We're not normal, but
we're normal, honey.
Are we?
Yes, we are totally normal.
all right.
But we got a little abnormal to us, obviously.
Right.
But anyway, so we just connected right away
Yeah.
with Dave. He's just the most awesome person ever.
Yep, Dave's up in, like you said, in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing this a long time, and he's done some fascinating things. He's found some things out there, and we just love Dave. So
Yep.
we're going to bring him in and just talk to Dave about everything he's doing and has done and what he's up to.
Hey, Dave.
Tim and Dana, how are you guys?
Good. Welcome to the party.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Yes.
wonderful intro. And I am
course,
normal. I appreciate that. I consider myself normal.
I think we should do that from now on. Like when we introduce our researchers or our guests or whoever, we need to establish whether they're normal or not normal.
Yeah, I'm sure they would appreciate that.
I mean, because some people
Yeah.
actually, I think, like being
out different.
not normal.
Right.
Do you know? Because
Right.
normal can sometimes be a little boring.
Right.
But Dave, we are normal, but the really normal people think we're not.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we think
Yeah,
we're normal,
yeah.
but we're really not.
When I tell my normal friends that I believe in Bigfoot, you think they think I'm normal?
Oh, no. Definitely not. These were great hosts at the cabin last year. It was really nice. Met you as soon as we got there.
Yep.
A lot of other old friends. It's always good going back. I've seen people that I met the first time I went in probably 2008. And, whenever you go, you see some of the same friends. And it's good because whoever you're with, you can talk about it. You don't have to, like you were saying earlier, your normal friends, they wouldn't listen to you for 5 minutes, So
Right.
it's good to wherever you go, and even a few people come up to our table that were there for the first time, witnesses that didn't know nothing about it, and they were like asking for advice and how are these things, and I steered them to a couple Pennsylvania researchers. They were just over the line in Pennsylvania, and they were traumatized by it. I literally like, hey, I got someone you can talk to that lives close by to you. And a day or two later, I saw them, and, it was great hooking up with them. They were so relieved and part of the circle, all talking amongst us. And a lot of curious people now. It's really come out of the woodwork with stuff they were scared to share earlier. So they go to these things and kind of let their hair down, and I'm normal. Now they're the normal people,
Right.
It is like a cult that people just have no idea about what's
Right.
going on.
I
So-
had no idea until I got to the first one. And the funny thing
It
is,
was me,
Yeah.
Dave. I was the abnormal Bigfoot person, and then he met me and he was like, oh my God.
Most people are, right?
Yeah. But then when
um,
he went to his first conference,
mhm.
he was like, okay. Now he's written a book and started this podcast, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about Bigfoot anymore.
It grabbed you, doesn't it? It got to grab the hold of you, Tim.
I did.
It got a hold of him.
The funny thing is, I was talking to Alex Petikoff, who's a friend of ours and a friend of Dave's.
Yeah.
And
great guy.
He was at the first Ohio Bigfoot conference. We were talking about this, remember?
Oh, right. Oh my God, that is so weird.
And he was in the cabin. We were at the dinner prior to the event, and is where we got to meet Dr. Jeff and Cliff and Bobo for the first time. But Alex was there too, and I never knew it until like a week ago.
Well, he was like, I mean, that was like 4.
We didn't had no idea.
Ago.
5, yeah.
Alex was like 3 years old.
And I no, he wasn't. Come on. But I think he write. I think he rode down with John or Dave. I think he came down there with you guys, right?
He did. Yes, a bunch of guys from Massachusetts that year. Was probably 5 or 6. Yeah.
So Dave, let's introduce you to our viewers about who you are, where you are, and what you do in the Bigfoot world. So why don't you tell everybody what got you fascinated in the subject in the first place?
Probably the In Search of series with Leonard Nimoy. I know a lot of people do, but that for me was actually I was into the other things first. Loch Ness Monster, UFOs, and I was still fascinated by Bigfoot too, but probably not till the 90s did I really look into it as far as reading sighting reports, the BFO. Like the internet was new. There was just so much information out there that you had no idea about the forums, and met a lot of nice people online. Then 2004, I went on a BFRO expedition out of Whitehall, New York. That's when I was really started getting a hold of me, and I'm like, wow, they do campouts. You can go out with them, man. That was a no-brainer. That was Whitehall, where I had read the book Monsters of the North Woods by Paul Bartholomew. I don't know if you've read that, but it's all New York and New England. And going there, meeting Matt, meeting the BFRO, and then going around town with Paul Bartholomew to spots that happened. And you get to know people. I met the officers that were involved with it, the golf course owner. It was just a lot of fun. And then it snowballed from there. Just went to Ohio the following year. Went to a couple conferences. I went to the 40th anniversary for the PG film out in Willow Creek. And that was my first trip out west on the West Coast. And I was hooked there even more. It was a great time. And probably since then, it's just been like an everyday thing. Probably since I started going out into Whitehall. You just think about it all. What can I read about tonight? What can I look at? What can I... just go for a walk in the woods. Anything that's got to do with something to do with that. It's almost like it gets some of your time every day. And a lot of people are tired with their schedules. I happen to have a decent amount of free time where I can get out, This time of year, it's a little hot. It's freezing cold. There's no... Just driving around a few places. There's no tracks of anything out there unless you get deep into the woods, but it's pretty frosty here now. Last week or so it's been in the 20s, low 20s.
Yeah, we're having, we're I don't know how many hundreds of miles south we are of you guys, but I think we're similar in the sense that we're right along the ocean, but you are north, probably about, I would say probably like an 8-hour drive from where we are in southern Delaware.
Oh yeah, at least, yeah.
But so it makes a difference, but we're freezing cold here too. Do you know? Yeah. We're much further south, but I think just everybody from like the mid-Atlantic up along the coast is just getting hit hard. So would you say that there's more activity in Massachusetts Well, in the warmer months.
That recording you're probably going to play later on was just this past August. I think they're still around, but I think they just hunker down a lot more. They must find areas where there's caves that people just don't get to. There's a lot of areas in Western Mass and actually all the way to the southeast coast. It's pretty wooded and swampy. So we've found a few things that are just clumps where you can see the work they can do. They can drag trees into and make a nice little nest where no one even goes. You know, there's so much. There's a good amount of land. Oh, there's my kitty. Say hi, Stormy.
Hi, baby.
Well, there's probably a strong possibility you may see one of ours jump up here.
I know.
Right.
That happens all the time.
We have 3, so 1 for 1 so far.
Oh, yeah, we have 4. So, yeah.
Oh, you do? You have us by 1? Wow.
Yeah. They're like our new kids
Oh,
now that all the kids are gone.
Yep.
Oh, hi,
Here he is
baby.
again.
He's like, I'm going to show you my hiney.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you said you think you noticed or witnessed or saw them dragging trees. Not saw them dragging trees, but you saw the trees that seemed to be drugged.
Not drug. I've had a couple snapped right in front of me a couple times. Tree pushovers and like snapped and slammed to the ground. And one of the incidents, there was a guy had his thermal. Oh, gee. Oh, honey, she knocked me out. Sorry.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm okay. She went flying
Kim.
out.
Hey, I'm here. Here we go. Kim to the rescue.
Sorry about
She's
that. Okay.
she's like the producer of the show.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
camera is good.
You better
We might
watch
need you over
out.
here sometime for us too. We need help sometimes. Too.
Right.
Don't worry, Dave. We can do some
Well, I'm
editing.
glad it
That's
didn't knock me out.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think we should edit. I think that was fun.
Okay.
Okay.
That's funny. Stormy.
So anyway, what were we
I
talking
forget
about,
what I
guys?
was saying. I'm sorry.
What were you saying, Dave?
I'm trying to think what I was saying when Cat knocked me off track.
Yeah, me
Oh.
too. So I think
We're talking
I
about tree
apologize.
breaks.
yes, tree breaks.
Yes, tree snapped over twice.
Mhm.
Once was in by the Quabbin Reservoir in I want to say 5 years ago. That was the last one. The first one was a case we were doing with a lot of activity. Mason, New Hampshire, which is just over the line. And that was pretty intense too. And if I didn't have both of them, there was witnesses with me. So I had someone that heard it also that can validate it for me that, like, you know, you can chalk that up to there's another thing that happened too. And not many though. Probably only 4 incidents where in 18 years. So that's not a great batting average, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll take
Hey-
those. I'll take those as good. Convinced
Yeah.
me that something snapped a tree pretty close to us. Can't explain why nothing was caught on thermal after that, because it was only 30 yards away and
Wow.
nothing. No winds. Middle of the summer, no winds, quiet night. It's kind of leading me in the 18 years, like probably 10 of them I was, no, it's an animal, it's a flesh and blood. Now I'm like in both. I think there's more than one kind myself. One that does have some kind of supernatural use of portals, or I can't explain that, or another dimension. But that's the 3rd time I've heard from someone in a report, Southeast Mass, that it was there and it was just gone. He turned around to grab a flashlight that was right at his door. By the time he got it on, it was just gone. I've also
No
heard
noise,
another
no
case.
nothing.
Yeah, I also heard another case in New Hampshire where the same thing happened. The guy seen him cross the path into a field. So he ran. He was out walking 2 dogs, and he ran to the opening maybe 10 seconds where he could see a long ways, and there was just nothing there. So
So what do you think, Dave? Because a lot of people have the theory that Bigfoots have the capability of cloaking.
That's possible.
Like, of instantly camouflaging themselves, kind of like
I've heard of that a lot.
Or an octopus, you know.
Yeah, they're like a predator type. I've heard people describe it as the predator.
Oh, right, right.
Kind of moved up the tree and gone, and that's what leads me to think now. Like, if anything, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really say. But vanishing, it seems to be described a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a fleeting glimpse. It's there and it's gone. And according to Native American testimony, they decide who sees them, and then you get to wonder where I start to wonder now: do I want to see something that's gonna traumatize you, like the effect it has on a lot of people I talk to? It's like some people said, is it lucky or unlucky?
Right.
I heard someone a couple of weeks ago described it as, I feel enlightened that I saw it, but yet I'll never get it out of my mind. Like, I've heard that hundreds of times by witnesses. You can't unsee it.
Yeah.
So that's why I know there's been researchers a lot longer than I've done it that have never seen it, their whole life and never seen it. And that's their life, and they're in the habitat, and they're just not lucky enough to have seen it. So it is like hitting the lottery.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep buying lottery tickets till I see one.
Hey, if you don't play, you're not going to win, Dave.
Right.
So,
maybe the competition will take a walk.
Maybe. Going back to 18 years ago, Dave, the Dave from 18 years ago. So back then, what did you think, in your mind, what do you think they were, back then when you started?
Just strictly flesh and blood, like another living, not animal, but just its own species, its own thing. And it just haven't been discovered yet. That's what I thought. Kind of man-like, kind of ape-like, because it has behaviors of both, acts like both. And there's people that'll swear, no, it was more like an ape. And then there's people that'll swear, no, hunters that have had it lined up in their scope and see the face, and I couldn't shoot it. It looked too human, But it's mystifying, really. It really is.
So, hey, Dave, before you mentioned a reservoir, and I think I had heard John Wilkes talk about that.
Yeah, that's.
Tell us the story of the reservoir.
That's the Quabbin Reservoir. It's like pretty much right in the middle of the state, and it takes up. They flooded like 5 or 6 towns to create it, and it supplies water supply all the way across to Boston. And there's islands out there. There's like buried towns, buried cities. So there's so much area that's restricted to you. You can hike and you can fish in there, and that's about it. There's no camping at all. There's no, a lot of times around the immediate reservoirs, you got to be out of there by sundown, and that's when people have seen stuff around there. It's almost like they know the people going to leave. And actually, John had a friend. I was with them. We're driving along, and he sees a friend who's a warden there. And this woman kind of jokes about it to him, but she seems to always mention it to him when she sees him. Hey, you find him yet? You see it yet? And she was escorting some people out that were there. It was getting too dark. And when they got to the gate, one of them left their phone on the rock. And she goes, well, I'll have to go back and get it. By now, it's pretty dark. She went to the spot, got it, heard the brushes moving, and all of a sudden a big rock come flying out right where she's standing. And she grabbed the phone. She already had the phone, but she just hightailed it out of there. She knew what it was. Everyone's been already escorted out of there. So I think when they know everything left, something obviously came to that area. So when she come back in and poking around, that, a rock comes flying in. That's pretty obvious what that was. And
Right.
John's also been sent a couple of pictures of footprints they take a picture and then they just smudge the dirt and ruin it. But he's seen a couple of pictures in the proximity. We've had a lot of stuff, like if you look on the map, like on each side of the reservoir, there's been a lot of incidents over the years.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's so interesting because it's a restricted area.
Yep.
So like you said, you can go in there to fish or you can go in there to hike, but you have to be out when it gets dark.
Yep. Yeah, and that's
So
a
I
lot
mean,
of
that
what.
sounds to me like a perfect place for Bigfoots to live.
Yep. Yeah,
I
a lot
mean-
of deer, a lot of game, a lot of pretty much anything that's in that area. That's where you see them all.
And
Well,
how big is the area again, Dave?
Oh, it covers, I'm not sure of the exact square foot, but it covers probably almost to the top of the state, pretty well down where John is in Springfield.
Wow.
And it
So
covers
that's a
probably the
big
length of 6 or
area.
7 towns. And low
Yeah.
populations. All these towns have very low populations, very
Okay.
quiet, very rural, a lot of farms. And another case John had was a woman took us to the Quabbin Reservoir, a trail that went right through the water, and her and her husband, she saw a white one. And he didn't happen to see it, but he saw her get freaked out and come running over. And we went back to the site with her. I stood where it was. I played Bobo. And I had a hat, and I held it up as high as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And they were back where she was, and she told John, she's like, he's still not really there. But it's over the hat, But I would have needed like a stick or something to go up even more to.
Wow.
And white,
Right.
and it was white and very thin. She said it wasn't the
Huh.
big, muscular you typically think of. So that was different too. And they were engineers on the day off, so they were pretty credible people.
Do you think
Was it hairy though? Like white fur?
Yeah, it was like white straggly hair, but she said it was
Okay.
lean, and it was built more like a basketball player than a football player.
Okay. Yeah, it could have been old and
Yeah, that's
Right.
what we were thinking. We were
Yeah.
thinking that too.
Hmm.
But it
That-
just stopped, looked at her, and then just beelined it. And she said it was gone in 5 seconds. I couldn't see it anymore. It was just,
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so you said beeline. So I mean, what have you heard from witnesses about the speed of these things?
I've heard a lot of very fast moving, couple of people like right across the field. And that was another one that was in the corner of Mass in Vermont. And another case John got, a woman was sky watching. She'd pull her chair out, pull up on the side of the road, and watch the stars. And right when it's getting dark, she had her dog running around. She could hear the brush moving, something coming forward. So she's thinking this is a couple of deer running up the hill. And all of a sudden this thing come out. She said it had to have been at least 7 feet tall. And she spooked it. She said it kind of like a grunt, like a holy,
Right.
and it just ran across. And I ran as hard as I could. And this is a pretty thick, muddy field. And she goes, not even close. That thing cleared the field in like less than 10 seconds. And it was it was at least 100 yards or more. So that was like just gone. But the dog came running out. It didn't bother the dog. Seems to be a lot of cases where they do, but that one paid no mind to the dog. Just kind of looked at the lady stunned
Mm-hmm.
and took her off. So I've done a few cases for the BFRO in Southeast Mass. Seems to be a lot. You guys heard of the Bridgewater Triangle?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, we've done a
wanna
couple
tell-
of it. Yep.
You want to tell our viewers about it, Dave?
Sure. One of them was I was saying earlier, the guy that spun around to grab a flashlight and it was going like that.
Right.
He first thing in the morning, just dawn, right? It's not even fully light yet. There's 2 big dogs. He's got goats, chickens, and like little stuff. And he let the dogs out to do their business and took a step out onto the porch. And he'd seen them spin right around and come running back. And he goes, which they never do. They're out there. He's near the cranberry bogs, open field. He's like, they just go out and run around. And they came running back. And then he seen what he looked between the trees, and he has one of those New England, you guys must have them too, those stone walls that old farmers' boundaries. Anyway,
no, you guys have tons of stones up there. We don't have those down here.
Yeah.
But
it was kind of like he's trying to figure out, he thought it was a moose because he just woke up and his eyes. Mm-hmm. So he's thinking, he's seen it like in a football stance with 1 foot on. That's what, after talking to him, that's what I figured out. He said it knocked the rock off the wall. That's when he's looking at it, and the more he did it, he's like, that's not a moose. It's just not a moose. So when he went to turn, he took 1 step back where he keeps a flashlight, and it was gone. And he went out to the area. He saw where the rock fell off it either kicked the rock off or something, and no sign of it anywhere, just gone. And it's like just a marsh, and that's probably how they blend in so much also. It was just hightailed into the marsh, became part of the weeds and the scenery, and it was just gone. And that was in the blink of an eye like that.
I love how you say marsh.
Oh.
He said, don't park your car in the marsh.
Not Marshfield. There's a Marshfield. You can't park in Marshfield either.
Some of the audience may need a translator after this.
Right.
We're going to need some subtitles in English.
Yeah.
All of her family's from up there.
Yeah,
so.
my ancestors,
yes.
The first arrivals, my ancestors come from the Azores, like my grandfather. And they moved to New Bedford from there. And I know that there's a huge Portuguese and Azorean population in Massachusetts in general. So, I have a lot of relatives.
Yeah, you were telling me that. That's cool.
Yep.
I work with a girl that she's from there and she just moved back there.
Yeah.
Loves it down there. Yeah, that's the biggest Portuguese community in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
The big whaling community.
Yep.
Still all the old houses.
It's so beautiful.
And that's
there.
where they were. They were whalers. And actually an Azorean story that connects to why we're here. Monster Quest was there at one time.
Yeah.
With our friend Dr. Esteban Sarmiento, and they were in Azores doing some things. So, talking to whalers and such. Yeah, looking for sea monsters, I think.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place.
We
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have to. We're gonna. We have an opportunity to go, but we have other things going on. But anyway,
so I
want to know, Dave. I'm sorry, honey. I want to know about the area that you live in. Where are you?
I live in north of Boston. I'm probably a half hour, 40 minutes. Probably.
Do you live in a suburb? Do you live in the countryside?
Small city. I'd say a small city.
Okay.
It's very populated now and congested, than it used to be. But Mill City, an old industrial mill city, one of the original cities of the Industrial Revolution. A lot of history.
But you can get out to the woods pretty quick.
Oh yeah. I'm 5 minutes from the New Hampshire line. So as I head north, you're heading up into the woods. Yeah, a lot of towns around here do. This is kind of where it's like the big city, not as big as Boston, obviously, but like you heard of Worcester. There's a word to say.
Yeah. Well, I pronounce it 6 different ways.
I'm glad you said it first.
Right, Worcester. That's a hard word to pronounce.
Because You see that when you're driving around there, and
I've been there
and you're
and a few
like,
times,
how,
and
I'm
I'm
not
like,
even.
yeah.
I'm scared to even try that because you know you're gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
Worcester.
If I go out, John's in Western Mass, so if I go that way, I go 20 minutes that way, and it's woods. 20 minutes north, and it's woods.
Right.
So it's probably a little longer down to the Triangle. I get down there a lot. That's where I've been out a lot.
And so the Triangle is that, and so that's closer to where John is.
No, John's out west, out by the reservoir.
Right.
He's really
yes.
close to the reservoir.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's about an hour and a half west for me to go. Not too bad.
Right.
So
But
why don't
it's,
you tell us about John and
Yeah.
Squatchachusetts and tell us about the group.
It's been 2006. It seems like it was just a few years ago, and it just a handful of people that wanted to start something in Mass, and it's really grown a lot. It's really got a lot of people, a lot of members.
How did you get all your members? Was it like on a Facebook group or?
That's pretty much what we use now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's probably, I want to say a lot of people that just on the Facebook and don't go out, you know. But anyone's welcome to go out.
Okay.
Like I'm going to be posting something like the end of winter, spring, just to meet up. People that haven't been out want to get out, hit a nice flat trail, no strain for anybody, you know. Because you're going to see people with all different levels of health that just have an interest in it and just want to get out of their house and take a walk in the woods.
Right.
Nothing guaranteed, nothing. But
right.
But understanding that you're not, as soon as you get on the trail, start banging on trees and hooting and hollering. And that's more like telling people. But that's why I want to have a meetup and just talk to people like do's and don'ts.
Right.
We've had a couple experiences where there's new people that first time they ever went out and everything's quiet and everyone's just chilling for, and all of a sudden this guy lets out this bellowing. And I'm standing like 5 feet from him. I jumped out of my shoes. I'm like, what? And everyone, you can just hear everybody going, what? Somebody tell this guy to just announce it, you know? Just say, hey, I'm going to do a yell in a minute.
Exactly. Hello.
Keep it quiet, you know, but this guy just went off. And I don't scare that easy, but I pitch darkness, we've been out there all night, all the time. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Did you ever have any newbies that came out for the first time and had, like a compelling experience?
A couple that every twig that snapped, it was something. Hey, there's one right there. That's another one. I heard something right there, and I hear the same things. An owl or, a squirrel running across the leaves. Because the leaf litter up, like wherever up here, that's why we always say tracks are hard to find in New England. It's just so leaf littered that you just walk and you just crunch. Mm-hmm. So anything walks across, could be, you pick an animal out there. I just told her, I go, say, I've been doing this, I know you're new at it, but I hear stuff every time I go out. That doesn't mean it's a Bigfoot. That's a deer. It could be anything, and then he's, okay. But he was getting like nervous and excited, like, hey, you guys aren't going to, let's go there. And like, you'd be walking around in circles all night if you, unless it's something legit, like you're saying, like tree snaps or a good bellowing howl. I've had 2 really good vocalizations and the 2 tree snaps. Those are my 4 experiences I've had, but I've seen orbs, I've seen other stuff, not Bigfoot related. That I actually saw, believe it or not a story for another night, as I had a UFO sighting just a few months ago in my town, and it's clear as day, broad daylight.
Well, Dave, you can't just drop that and not tell the story.
Yeah,
come on.
you have to
right.
tell us.
It was so unexpected. I happened to look up. I was cutting the grass. I dumped the lawn bag into the bag, put it back on, get ready to start up again. I grabbed a drink of water and I looked up like this, and this thing was going black, but it was metallic. You could kind of see this, but it was just a round ball, probably as big as, not super huge, a Volkswagen, a couple cars maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're into one of these things, I've heard from a lot of people that you open yourself up to. You're either numbers called or you're tagged or you're within a few months I had that happen. I work in an old historic building in my town, and it's reported been haunting for years. Little just friendly spirits. It's been a bar. It's been a union hall in the Civil War. It's very historic. And I heard clear as day a knock on the door 5 feet in front of me, like as if there was someone at the door and there's no one there. And the two people I work with, they know all about it, and they say, "Oh, you heard something, huh?" Like it was nothing. So it was. I had that, and then just a couple months later, the whatever it was in the sky. Now I'm hoping to get out more, and there's a sighting. I'm hoping this year I have a sighting. I'm actually going to a couple places. Some friends. You know Michael Hall in Texas. They're doing an exhibition. They've been going. They got some really great recordings out of there, and possibly in April. And it's just outside of Folk, Arkansas, where Mercer Bayou, all those long history. So I'm hoping this is the year. I didn't think it'd take this long. I thought for sure you're gonna see something. You know?
I mean, there's like a lot of researchers who haven't had any sightings.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's anything you're doing or you're not doing. It's really just, I think it's chance and circumstance.
I think it
as
is.
well as putting yourself in a,
the last couple of years, I've been just taking less and less gear out. I hardly take anything out with me now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have told me that have had interactions with them that they see it like a spotlight. Any kind of cameras, any electronics, and I take a phone with me. That's about it. Now I'm just trying to draw it to me. Just put myself out there, like.
Mm-hmm.
Be a non-researcher. I think they can kind of tell it. This guy's looking for me. He's got everything he can think of to record me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of my theories. That's why I think there's two kinds. Because I think an animal would be oblivious to most animals do. They come up to game cameras and look in them and sniff them, and this thing's just too intelligent.
Yeah.
But you do think you said two kinds. You think there is an animal out there as well, you think, possibly?
I do, yes, yeah. Just uncatalogued, because I've read, over the years, just historical incidents of them being shot and dropped. Mm-hmm. And a couple others come out and dragged it into the woods. Hunters that by mistake thought it was a bear, seen one in a blueberry patch and just thought it was the hump of a bear sticking out and dropped it. That's an old Canadian. He'd get up to the brush and they saw the arm sticking out with the hand and just hightailed it out of there. But
and the Bridgewater Triangle, I mean, just can you just do a quick review for the audience of what's so special about that area? Historically.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, it's been for hundreds of years since the first settlers. A lot of wars with the Indians, a lot of massacres. It just seems to have a bad vibe. It's not like, say you're up in the woods with just a lot of trees and timber, and this is more like it's vines. A lot of this, it's just impenetrable. So off the main trails, you got to you're bushwhacking. You're gonna have a machete, head to toe gear for thorns, and very swampy, especially in the summer. It's really the heat, and because you're gonna have to wear all this gear to get in there. But there's been not just Bigfoot stuff. There's been UFO stuff for years. I don't know if you ever heard of the Pukwudgies, the Native Americans, the little people, big cats people. I know a guy that I was doing a Bigfoot case for the BFRO, and he had also seen a black cat in the same area. He saw a Bigfoot, and we had a night. I hosted a BFRO expedition in 2019, and one night we all went out and we all charged up new gear, all new batteries, and we went to the spot where other weird stuff is happening, and we split up into 3 groups of 5. I think it was 15 of us, and all the walkie-talkies just started not working. And everyone, they just kept clicking, then going off. Then they did work, then they didn't, and we all just met. And like, what the heck is going on? And one guy that had a voice recorder was asking questions while he was walking alone, and he got some. I don't know what they call it, a spirit box, or it's a ghost hunter's tool, and wasn't nice stuff. And he's never posted it or never shared it, but with a couple of ghost hunter groups, but that's just to tell you all the different stuff that happens. It's another night we were out 2 nights later, and we 9 of us saw a UFO, and one of the guys he's probably the most well known in mass, maybe in one of the countries too. He's a scientist. Analytical scientist, and he knew all about them. He's actually got so much going on. He hosts a group for abductees, and he could tell right away what it was because we were watching all the same line. All these jets are coming into Boston, and this was just on a different track, and it was going different spots. It wasn't keeping a straight flight path, and then it was dimming down and getting real bright. Then it'd dim down and be out, and when it light up, it'd be on a different area, and it was that's just in 2 nights that stuff happened. And I know people that live there, and they say it's just always had a bad vibe. I think it's so many killings, and one of the Indian chiefs cursed it. Just for the record, that he did do it, and it's well known what he did. And it's just an odd fauna. It's just odd. It kind of, there's areas that in the middle of the summer, it just looks dead. It just looks like an old, this is a bad vibe, bad energy. A lot of people say that. People that can read that, a lot of bad energy down that way.
And that's like, that has like historic, I know, just like from medieval times, like, certain forests were haunted or evil or, so there's something to that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. So Dave sent us some interesting audio.
Oh yeah. Let's listen
So before I share it, Dave, I'm gonna have you set it up because I think when I share the audio, we might be muted through the audio. So maybe you can set it up and then we'll listen to it and then talk about it.
It's the video first you're doing?
I'll do the audio first.
Okay, the audio was just this past August, and this was Rochester, Mass, which is right within the Triangle. And this was sent to me by the local contact down there. I just spoke about Matt Moniz. He's well known down there. No one knew who to send it to, so they got it to him. He sent it to me. And a guy was sleeping at night, and he heard this thing woke him up in the middle of the night. I want to say 3 a.m. And he had he could hear it over everything. He had the AC on running right next to him. So he ran down and he just stuck his phone out the door because when he heard it, The first thing he said was, "I'm not going outside," and he just put the phone out and caught that part of it, and that's like the end of it.
Well, all right. I'm
And,
gonna play it.
Sure.
I gotta pull us out of the studio here
And
when we do
if
this.
I could stay too, I'm not saying it's a Sasquatch. I'm saying it's in that realm of something big and something unknown. Knowing
Unknown
people like
sound.
said,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
That's a great piece of audio, Dave.
Mhm.
That is.
Like we have an advantage right now because we have, earphones in.
Oh yeah, if
And
you listen to it with headphones, even without the headphones, it's pretty
I know,
creepy.
but with the headphones and if you close your eyes, you can almost imagine like just like what the heck is that? Do you know?
Yeah, I sent them to Scott Nelson. You guys know Scott Nelson,
Mhm.
and he said it's definitely primate. It's
Mhm.
using syllables. He said the changes in the tone, whatever it is, he goes, it shouldn't be in Massachusetts. It's just something that's very big,
Yeah.
very powerful.
Mhm.
That's a pretty creepy sound.
Yeah,
And the
that's
following
amazing
day,
audio.
we went there the next day or 2 days later, and the neighbor up the road found like deer legs, found 2 deer legs right in their driveway, and very odd circumstances too. Is that a
Yeah.
coincidence?
Could they tell they weren't like cut with a knife? They were just severed and
Oh
pulled
yeah,
off?
yeah. They were just you could see the skin hanging off them, and I can get you that. I'm sorry I didn't send you the pictures on time for this, but I can send you them. And pretty weird.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
pretty
Because
weird.
what could do that? Yeah.
It was ripping off a leg bone. It could have been. It almost sounds like a language though, like something
Oh no,
communicating
I'm
with.
hearing a language there for sure.
Yeah, I'd
There
love to have
is
it
something.
professionally put on graphs and a spectrogram. I'd love to see that. I spent it. The other one too, I sent to Bobo. He liked that one also. I sent them both to him.
Well, it just happens that we have a friend, and you know who Mr. David Ellis is. Maybe we'll have him take a look at it on the
Sure.
spectrogram.
Yeah.
That'd
if you
be
don't
great.
mind,
I've heard of
send it
him.
to Dave.
I don't know Dave personally, but yeah, I've heard the name. That'd be something.
Yeah, him and or Chris Spencer too. Yeah, well, if you don't mind, we'll share it with a couple
Not at
of them.
all.
They all know who you are, so
Yeah, I'd love the feedback and love to hear it.
awesome. Do we want to? So, Dave, do we want to try to share this video as well?
Sure.
So
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
So maybe
Yeah,
you
it's
can set that
anonymous.
up.
That was up in New Hampshire. That was not this past Labor Day. The last year's before that Labor Day, and this was a good friend of mine's daughter lives up in New Hampshire, and she knows I've been into this and knows people that you should send it to Dave, see what he thinks. And soon as I heard it, I was telling her because she's actually my hairdresser, and she showed me when I get my hair cut. And that's the first thing I said. I goes, well, if you want my opinion, it's a Sasquatch. By the growl, I don't know. I wish I knew the exact number where to tell people to listen to, but it's towards the end before the tree comes. And actually, it's only a section of tree. It looks like a whole tree comes down. I went up and same thing. I got plenty of pictures I can send you. I should have sent them ahead. But pretty creepy because she's just on her deck on a summer day with her baby. And she hears commotion, trees moving, and you can hear the branches popping in it. You can pretty easily. She just put her phone on. She's home alone. She was going to send it to her husband that there's people playing in the woods behind our house or something. And they live along power lines on one side and farms on the other. So there are no neighborhood kids to be out there causing that. But she just put it on anyways. And you can hear the power in the branches breaking. You can hear the pops. You can hear the dog go off right off the bat. And dog keeps barking through it. And before, like I said, before the section of tree, you will hear a little, like a very low guttural exertion of something, like if you were a bench press or if you were going to, and then that thing just comes right down. And that's same thing. I sent that to Doug Hijack. He was pretty impressed with it. Scott Nelson. Yeah. So that's pretty much how the setup to it.
All right, so I'm going to play it. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull us out of the studio. This is so awesome. I got a sneak peek at this, obviously.
Layla, shh. What the fuck is happening? Your baby bear be up there? There's 2 trees moving. I don't fucking understand what's happening. See that whole tree just fucking... Back tree too. That whole fucking tree is moving. What is up there? Oh shit. The tree fell! The tree fell!
Wow. That was pretty crazy.
That is the growl towards the end is the best part, in my opinion. I mean, all the tree popping, the tree coming down, but I don't know if you guys got with the headphones. You must have heard the grunt.
I didn't hear it, but I think I'm gonna listen to it again.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
right now, but yeah, I think the tree branch you said it wasn't that
was just
big
a
branch
section of the tree. Yeah.
Wow.
So you said there's power lines and farms there. Where the tree closer to the power line?
No, this was like right on their property line.
Okay.
Like the bush right in the front was like actually all around their deck. Those vines, those weeds right in the front. And there was probably 25, 30 yards to the tree line of the woods where it come down. So when they were telling me that, like she even says that the tree fell. When I went up there, I'm like, it's only a section of the tree, but it was enormous. It had to be, I don't know, 6 foot around the trunk, 6 or 8 feet.
Whoa.
Oh,
And
where
that
it
was
broke?
just a section of the tree. So it was a perfect V in the tree that come off like that. So I did see some structures. I poked around the woods that go out to the power lines and a couple odd tree things, tree shapes.
Has she had any other type of experiences?
Nothing. No. This is central New Hampshire. They see a ton of bear. They see like a bear or two cut through every day, moose, tons of deer, everything else that would be up. And this is...
So Dave, just out of curiosity, because we don't have bears here in Delaware, what? I mean, could a bear have done that?
It's possible. A big bear, but they see them all the time, and they never break branches, and they never.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that doesn't seem like normal, right?
Right.
I mean,
They just cut through. They see them, and they just cut through the yard, and and there's tons of bear around there, so I think this would be happening like in more areas to more people if this is what bears did. But
yeah.
something powerful, I'll tell you that. And I'd love to have that growl grunt analyzed also, because that'd be that was quite a pickup for a phone. Maybe 30 yards away. That's a. I told her I met her a few times. She was you can hear her saying in it, is that a baby bear up in the trees? So something was up in the trees.
Right.
And I'm thinking it put its feet against maybe a couple juvenile, I don't know, maybe a big one. But something put its feet against the V and pushed that. And I think that's what I think it just grabbed a hold and that thing came right down. The way I looked at it, I mean, the way I was there looking at it, it's like, okay, come off this side of the tree. So something was in the crook, right in that V with its, I mean, the strength of it, it could have pushed it with its arms, but it seems more likely it just give it one heck of a push with its feet. And if they're that big and powerful, this is, that was a lot of tree that came down, and it's lucky it didn't come down to the house. It came down to their backyard, but what it did some damage. It was that big and heavy.
And was the tree like pretty healthy, or was it like?
Yeah, it's a solid tree. All the her husband cut it all up. By the time I got there, he cut up a lot of the branches that fell, and it was white. It was just nice solid wood. He used it.
Probably some crazy adolescent Bigfoot. You know how they always try to get in trouble, cause some mischief.
Right. I've heard that a lot.
So, hey, Dave, why don't you tell everybody is there any way that people can like follow you? You're on Facebook?
Yeah.
I'm Facebook friends with you. Yeah.
Yep. Squatchachusetts Facebook. Yeah. That also, you have my email if you want
to. And the audience. So if they're interested in anything related to the subject in the area, it doesn't have to be Massachusetts, but they can go to Squatchachusetts. They can go out in the woods with you guys. They can learn about what's going on. Is that the best way for them just to go to Squatchachusetts?
Sure. You can either reach me or John. Just post it out there. I'd like to get out.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
taking a lot of new people that have really stuck with it. Some people they go for that weekend, do it once, and they've had enough.
Why don't we go up there and you can hang out with the family we can hang out with Dave, and maybe we can get John from, he's a Western Massachusetts guy. Maybe we can get John to come to the East,
Well, right next to New Bedford is, Freetown State Forest.
Okay.
That's not far at all. In fact, my first time going through New Bedford was just a few years ago, and we were actually in the Freetown State Forest. And I was with Alexander, and he took me to a place in New Bedford. We went there for dinner, and so it's really close. They have a woods real close to them.
Okay.
A lot of open area down there. Yeah.
Yep. Dave, our friend Dave. This was great.
We really appreciate you coming on, and it's just such a pleasure because we're just like, we just feel so relaxed because we already know you. Who's that?
That's Kim. Come say hi, Kim. We're going to make her come in. Come say hi to the audience.
I'm trying to take a picture of Dave on the... Everybody smile.
Kim is Dave's wife.
Oh, no.
She's his producer.
All right, look at me.
His girlfriend. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is fabulous girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous. I thought you said status girlfriend. I didn't know what that was.
You guys will be in Ohio.
We
Yeah.
will be in Ohio for sure. Yep.
Have
We're
you
gonna, that's
traveled
our
again?
favorite conference.
Nice. Yeah, we're
Yep.
going. We already booked.
Yep. So we'll
It'll be
probably, we'll
fun.
have, if you arrive in time, you know, you'll come over our house, our cabin on the first night. We'll have like our little party.
Yep. Nice.
So very cool.
We look
Thank
forward to
you
it
for
next
having
time.
me on. I appreciate you
Oh,
asking
Dave,
me.
this
We appreciate
Yeah,
you,
thank
Dave.
you for
Thank you
doing
so
that.
much for
My
taking
pleasure.
the time.
My pleasure. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Have a great night and bye,
You too. See you
Kim.
guys.
See you
Bye.
Bye, guys.
The cats say bye too.
Bye, babies. Oh, so cool.
Yeah,
I
we
love
love
that.
Dave.
That's
Dave's
so
cool.
Oh, he's so cool. He's
Yep.
got the best stories.
Oh my! And we could have gone 2 or 3 hours with just
I
listening to all
know.
the stuff he's heard and been out there and interviewed people because he
Yep.
just 18 years
I know.
is a long time. Him and
That
John.
is,
Well, yeah, it's just
it is a long time.
and they hear and see and talk to a lot of people.
Yep.
So, but we thank you guys for tuning
We do
in.
thank you.
Make sure you go over to the Untold Radio AM on YouTube and like and subscribe. You know, you can check us out on the BigfootInfluencers.com, Facebook,
Instagram.
Twitter, or X, I guess. Do they still call it Twitter?
No.
But, and a little bit of TikTok, but I'm just not
I know we need to do better. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that over.
You should. It's work. Anyone out there, all you guys
I
know
just
who.
want to be the star of the show and just kind of roll in here and not. And I just have to perform and then poofy, I go away.
All right.
Fine, I'll start doing the social media.
Yes. She's been promising that, guys. So you'll notice a big difference. It'll be better if she does. So, but thank you guys again.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and
We'll see you next time.
we'll see you next time.